Hello, Coach Laura here, and I wanted to go through how to pack your bag for a track meet. So this could also work for a running race, any kind of running race. Usually I like to do a duffel. It's a little easier to get to see what you've got. So that's what I like to use. You could certainly use a backpack if you want. So if I am getting ready for a track meet, I always got my water. Always make sure you bring your water. Usually for a track meet, I'm already wearing what I'm going to be racing in. I always bring some extra socks as well and a hat because often when you run, you sweat and then after your race, you get cold. So a hat will keep some of your heat in, which is great. With track meets, it's often for many hours. And so you might see it might be really hot and then it might get really cold. It might get breezy. So these are all things to consider. Obviously, you want to make sure, again, I'm usually wearing a singlet when I'm going to the meet. Depends on what your school has you wearing. I encourage you not to wear black unless that's what your school is wearing. You can get really hot in black. So think about that. So obviously white would be something I would choose. Again, I would have this underneath the other, whatever else I'm wearing. Of course, you're going to have the shorts, whatever they told you to bring. And then I usually bring some kind of tights. A lot of times that you can race in those tights. It just depends. Sometimes the weather is different than you think. So I usually bring, I have some little gloves as well, little stretch gloves. Little stretch gloves like this are great because usually they're just going to keep you just a little bit warm, and sometimes that's all you need. You can run in a singlet and shorts and then some gloves if it's a little cold, and it's just going to be more comfortable. So anyway, that's something I'd already be wearing. Certainly things you do not want to forget would be your shoes. Definitely bring your training shoes. A lot of times for me, I actually wear them. I'm wearing my training shoes to a race. Obviously, if it's a track meet as well and you're going to be racing on the track, I encourage you to wear spikes. Make sure you've practiced in them. I usually bring them in a separate bag. This is something I can go take out on the field and put them on, just wear my trainers and switch into trainers right after I'm done racing. You don't want to walk around with these a lot. You want to race in them. I usually bring my wrench and some extra spikes as well. So I'll have that in my bag. Other things I'll bring are going to be things that are going to keep me comfortable. So I might wear a sweatshirt with a hoodie kind of sweatshirt. I often bring a small blanket like this. This actually is pretty big. It's just a thin blanket. This is great to sit on. So the bleachers can get hot. They can get hot and they're hard. So it's really nice to have that. It obviously can be used as a blanket if I'm cold as well. Other things I'll put in my bag. I usually have some kind of a little a wipe of some sort so I can clean up if I need to. I also usually bring, this is kind of a foldable small windbreaker. This is great. If it's waterproof, even better, because if it is raining or something, that's obviously a problem. I have a small foldable, this is actually an umbrella. And even if it's not raining or planning to rain, and of course you can check the weather app and see, is it going to rain? So definitely check that before. But this can also be used as a shade. You could use this to keep you out of the sun. So one thing, unfortunately, I see all the time is people get burnt a lot at the track meets. And so I am a big believer in sunscreen personally. Of course, I'm not going to bring this big ginormous thing, but this is one of the brands I really like. What I look for in a sunscreen is broad spectrum. It's also something that's very water resistant. So when they're out there sweating, they're not going to sweat it off. And then this is a zinc oxide base. So it's a little bit goes a long way, but it really stays on. So I really like this particular one. So obviously you can bring something. I mean, obviously I'm bringing a smaller amount of something very similar. I put that in my bag. So if I need to reapply, I can. Other things that I like to bring are some sunglasses. One thing that I have, unfortunately, from a UV exposure is they're called paniculas in my eye. So it's just where I've got some extra tissue because of the exposure. It kind of damaged my eyes. So I didn't run with sunglasses a lot when I was young, and I really wish I would have. So I want to highly encourage you to bring some sunglasses to protect your eyes. Even if you don't race in them, there's a lot of reflection off the track and things like that, then it would be good definitely to have some some glasses. So that's a lot of the things that I have in my bag. Other things that I carry are going to be, I usually have a portable charger. I will have my phone on me, of course. I usually have some AirPods or something to listen to music. You could bring your headphones, whatever you want. I pop that in the bag. Other things that I like to bring as well is I think it's really important to have food. A lot of people, a lot of these track meets, you're doing more than one race. And so sometimes there's hours between, the races. And so you do need to get some nutrition. Generally, I encourage people to get an easily digestible product. So some of my favorites would be, I like blocks or things like this. They usually are tasty and they're easy to eat and very easily digestible. You could actually eat this and then go running and usually not have a problem. I usually like to get a little bit of protein too, because then I don't feel famished by the end of the meet. I feel like I've gotten a little substance in there. Gels are good as well if you want these kind of products. These are, a little more expensive. So if you're looking for products that maybe aren't quite as pricey, and you might have on hand, would be, fruit snacks can be fine. I really like these ones as well. These are just your fruit bars. These are really inexpensive. You can get organic ones as well. And this is another thing that is really inexpensive. These are something that you can just get at Costco. I like things like this too. This is going to give them some sugar, and that's okay. Another thing I like to carry, especially if you have a sensitive stomach, these ginger chews will often settle the stomach, and so that's a good thing to take as well. I'm a huge advocate for electrolytes, and I know all my athletes know that I'm like, get salt stick. It's so valuable. So one of my favorite products are these salt stick chews. These are fast chews. You don't have to have them with water. It's actually better if you don't have them with water. You just chew them and it will prevent any kind of cramping, or if you're having cramping, that can be a problem. So this is kind of like any electrolyte drink, except you don't have to have the drink. This is really a condensed electrolyte, and if you're not feeling good, this is usually the reason, is your electrolytes are off. So I also like to use the capsules, which are slow release over time. So if I'm preparing for like a half marathon, I will often take these before, and then I take these along with me in the race. So maybe if I'm doing a track meet, I'm not taking them with me in the race, but if I'm doing a 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon, I would take these with me. So I do have a discount code for these. If you use the code RUNBLONDE, it will save you 20%. So most of the products that I promote, I can get you a discount. Or if you want to try a sample, like, hit me up. I would love you to try it. It's a great product. So I'm a big baggy person, and I put everything in bags just in case it rains. And so I'll pop all of these in a bag, zip it up, and put it in my bag. Other things that I like to utilize are just simple things, like it's really nice to have some tissues if you need to. If they run out of tissue in the bathroom, which happens at track meets, unfortunately. Another thing that I carry for that very reason is Clean Freak wipes. You're welcome to get a sample. If you know me, please hit me up. And the track athletes I coach, if you're listening to this, hit me up. I will bring these to the track meet on Monday. So, but these are great because sometimes when you're nervous, you go to the bathroom a lot and you can really get chafed in an uncomfortable area. And so these are just the single wipes that you can use in the bathroom. And so these are nice. They also have body wipes, which I love, because when you sweat in a race, you get salt all over your skin. And it's really important to get that salt off. You may have to reapply your sunscreen, but your body can cool back down again. Obviously, when you use this, it feels really nice and cool, but it'll allow your body to produce that sweat again and cool you down more. So I like to use these between races, and that will just make me feel fresh all over again. So totally put these, I carry quite a few, and I put them in a baggie, and I put them in my bag. So I got a lot of good stuff in there. Other things that I like to carry with me are rock tape. This is kinesiology tape. There's different brands out there. I highly encourage you to bring alcohol swabs. So if you do need to apply it, maybe something sore or maybe you're getting chafing, you can put it on, and you want to make sure it's a clean surface. That's what those alcohol wipes are for. I usually have them pre-cut into the sizes I generally use, and so I'll pop that in my bag, and that's what I'll take. I also carry a little bag. This is like a kitchen size bag, so if it is raining, I can put this around my duffel bag and it's not getting everything in it drenched, even though they're in baggies. Super good to have. Another thing is I just carry another little baggie of, I have some chafing stuff. You can also use lip balm if you needed to, if you were desperate for that. This has SPF. You'd be surprised. I've seen people with burnt lips before at a track meet, so you definitely want that. Maybe a little bit of money if you want to get something at the concessions, an extra hair tie if you're a lady that needs that. Also, I usually carry a nail file and a flosser and things that make me feel comfortable at the meet. So it's, easy to pop that in there. And those are some of the things that I carry. So if you think I'm missing something here and you want to make sure people know about it, please let them know. Please make a comment below, and then they'll know about it. So, and if you have any questions or if you want to try a sample, certainly you can DM me, or if you have any other questions, those are some of the things that I carry with me. So, I think one other thing I wanted to touch on, don't forget your inhaler if you have asthma, or if you have any medications that you need, or ladies, if you're having any things that you need, personal items, make sure that you bring those. I think for the most part, I've covered everything. So again, if there's anything else, then please leave it in the comments. We want to hear from you as well. So have a great meet. I hope you race well, and until next time, live well.